welcome to part 2. I don't think I said end of part 1. Sam, our producer's just slaughtered us, said, lads, hurry up, boys. You're rambling on again. You're taking too long, so the production team have given us a right rollicking. So we're not going to do it quicker, but we'll try and, get to direct points. Right, lads, the great Leeds Rhinos. Jimmy, go on, I'll let you...
Go on, Jim.
You announce ins and outs, Jim.
All right, so Mikel Gudemon from Catalan, Lockie Miller, Newcastle Knights, albeit is basically been playing 9s for many years, hasn't he? He's not played an awful lot of 13s. Matt Frawley, Canberra Raiders, who did have a spell at Huddersfield how many years ago?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 or 4 years ago. Paul Momorovsky, centre from Sydney Roosters. Brodie Croft and Andy Ackers, who we're both very familiar with from Salford, and young Kieran Hudson from Castleford Tigers.
Yeah.
So not a massive list of... All right, I'm just saying it's not a massive list of ins. I think in recent years it's always been more than that, hasn't it? Out Sam Walters to Wigan. A very disappointing one for most Leeds fans. Tyndall to Hull. Caesar, West Tigers. Zane Tetevano released. I'm not sure where he's ended up. Blake Austin, the Entrance Tigers. Nene McDonald, after a weird and wonderful journey, ended up at Salford. Hooley's gone to Cass. Kai Morgan, the youngster, has got himself a chance at Salford. Richie Miley gone to York. Joe Gibbons to Batley, and Neil Tchambe to Hull KR.
They picked a weird, well, not a weird two, but they picked 2 youngsters and they missed everyone else somehow. It's funny, sorry, that's just on the Love Rugby League thing. They've missed out.
What, you missed a lot? You mean they've missed a lot of other youngsters?
Yeah. Well, they've mentioned Kai and Joe, but they've missed stuff half the other reserve teams.
I think, guys, this one to me is so simple. I think we can simplify this one.
Oh, that's a big statement.
Yeah, I think if Brodie is the man that was the Man of Steel year at Salford, is it Salford? Salford. Then Leeds will be a top 4 side. I'm not big on the Frawley thing, just because I reckon he's a brilliant professional, really nice lad. Rich Stool has had so much credit for him as a professional. But let's be honest, he didn't set the world alight, and that's why he got released. Leeds have signed him, on the emergence of Jackson Field and a few others. That's what they've done it for. But I think that Croft has got to be, for me, it's going to be the best half in the comp for Leeds to get in that top 4. I think he's the key. We've said historically, apart from Gailey for 15 months, they've not had the dominating half. They haven't had anybody since Danny and Kevin and Rob. That's been a pivotal problem for Leeds. We talked last year, I think they've had 9 half-backs since Sutty and Jordan, really, Rob. Anyway, we went through it all. Leeds to go and get him, and the fee they've paid, and the fee they've paid him, it's the biggest investment probably in Leeds history. That's how big this is, gentlemen. This is the biggest investment probably in Leeds. Honestly, you're talking going back. They signed an All Black called John Gallagher, I think. Historians of Leeds will tell you. I think they're a fortune waiting to that one. And maybe Yestin and early Yestin, I think they got him from Welsh Rugby.
Yeah, but nothing like that.
No, but I think they probably had to, whatever. But this is the biggest investment of Leeds' history. We all know the emergence of players like Cam Smith. For me, is the most pivotal thing. Making Cam captain, I think, is the best decision. We called it on here 12 months ago. It had to happen. I think he'll play for England this year, and I think he'll be the standout player. That's me. But I think everything's on Croft. I'm sorry for doing that to one player, but I just think if he struggles, I just can't see. He's going to have to carry Frawley a bit, in my opinion. That left, he's going to have to be that good. We've seen a young halfback of Joe's at weekend under 18s Leeds, and he's the first player I've seen for a long time played at either side of ruck, and he did it he would demand it ball either side of ruck. I actually think Croft's going to have to do this. I think Croft, at Salford at some time, Salford,
you got it right.
He could stay on the hedge, and and work his side. And he had a lovely side, and he had that drop off with Braley coming in. He had a lovely lead here. And Sneedy did a lot of that pressure for him. Who's doing that here? Because Frawley's steady. He's just a steady Eddie.
That's what they've got him in for.
Yeah, but he's not here. But Steed's kicking's 10 out of 10. He's had to do because he can't run ball. He's kicking, historically, he was a great footballer. They all say Steed's kicking's potentially the best in Super League. So I'm saying to you now, you're relying on Frawley taking him round and you're letting him have a free running role. Good luck with that.
Really?
I think he's going to play either side at ruck on my life, and I think you can let Frawley tick in.
I think the potential is, but again, I haven't seen an awful lot of Frawley, but from everything I've heard, the potential for I think their partnership is more obvious than Tyrone May and Michael Lewis's. You know, how they're going to, the dynamic.
Yeah, Frawley's going to be the first receiver.
But I wouldn't mind defending them two against, I won't like defending Mike and May.
But we're talking in terms of the system.
Well, out of the four, who will be able to get you to a certain spot for attack? I'd say Frawley out of the four.
Do you think Frawley's kicking's that level?
I think it has to be.
That's what I'm saying.
It has to be.
That's what I'm saying.
I think you're giving a discredit to him because he's been brought in.
Discredit, I'm being honest.
Yeah, but he's brought in to not do what you've described. He's come in to be the first receiving half and be the game manager, and then let Brodie be the maverick.
And I've not seen enough in Matt. I hope he proves me wrong and he can come on and calls me. I've not seen that in that player. I've not seen that.
But you've only seen him at Huddersfield.
Yes.
But that's why
and a bit of Canberra, of course you do. And we watched him for a bit and he never...
And I think there's...
You know, you watch a game of rugby, Jim, and they don't grab you. Yeah. This little kid just grabbed me.
I think that what you're saying is a common opinion. Yeah. Obviously, there was when he was announced, people would say, well, he didn't light it up at Huddersfield. But then you think back to other players who didn't light it up at a club and moved somewhere else and it works really well. I mean, Lola here is probably still the best example I can think of involving Leeds. But I think you're right. But what I think what's different is, and they've paid a lot of money for it, when they got Caesar in and when they got Austin in, it was that bit longer after they'd had their knockout years. Like Blake Austin's first year in this comp, he took the mick. It was ridiculous. And then, with respect, as much as I really liked him and everything he did at Leeds with the juniors, but I thought he was brilliant. But I did think that his game was deteriorating. He'd lost his speed to it, and he wasn't the same as what he was that first year at Warrington. Caesar was not the same player as he was the year he won Man of Steel or came running with Man of Steel.
And I think Frawley's saying...
Yeah, but I'm not talking about Frawley, I'm talking about Brodie Croft. I think Brodie Croft is still at that age, and I do not see, other than injury, how he's not going to be a roaring success. Obviously, the belief is that Frawley's the right man to accompany him, and like Joe said and described it. And if it works, they can knock on the door of a top four for me. If it takes a little bit longer to get it going, especially with a new fullback as well, it'll probably take. I think it'll be, probably spring before we start to see how good Leeds are. I think it'll take a little bit of time because it's such big changes.
I'm different. I'm different to you. I'm gonna say my big.
We weigh 5'3".
You're 5'4".
I'm 5'11".
You rich I think that my big issue. I think they'll be good enough. I'll be honest with you. I don't think there's without criticising the league in general. I don't think there's enough megastars. I've got to be careful. I generally mean I don't think there's enough superstar in your way of meaning it. Halfback combinations in the league to really it be a massive thing.
Well, so you've got Frawley and Croft to be a top four halfback partnership.
Top five, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, me too.
I think the issue with Leeds is the pack, and not the quality that they've got, just the depth. Yeah. The pack depth worries me because I love Kieran, but they've lost two. Sam Walters, who's been and done it now, who's moved up at the moment to Wigan. And then you've got Tetevarno, who, for all his faults, actually was solid. Didn't light it up, but was solid. Did his carries.
When he played, he was still a big player.
Solid. They've only bought one middle in at Kieran. Kieran's had that's a big. I love Kieran. We all love Kieran. That's big responsibility on Kieran's hands to say he's not played a game of Super League yet. And he is. If there's an injury at the pack, he's next man up. He's the next man. Squad numbers. There's only one other. There's only Tom who's number 33, whatever he is, 31 in the squad.
Yeah.
That else can play. So if Leeds have an injury in the middle, I'm worried because Kieran's going to have to be.
I don't think that. I know what you're saying, but I totally agree with you. I think if Leeds had another, big name middle, proven middle, then I'd have them, way higher than I think. But I think knowing what Rowan does, he'll move people around. I don't think Kieran will be in if they get one injury. Back rowers will play in the middle.
But that's not good. I don't think that's good enough. There's not a back.
No, I agree. Ideally, but I'm just saying.
Then?
My opinion is that Kieran Hudson don't go into the team if they get one injury in the middle. They'll move back rowers.
That's worrying then, because I don't want a back rower playing. That's worse. That's a worse argument.
Well,
because I'd want Kieran because he's signed as a prop that needs to play. If there's an injury, he's the backup prop, and that's what he's signed to do. He's the next man up prop.
Right.
Well, we don't know anything about Paul
Momorowski. I do actually. I've watched a bit of Paul. He's known as the credit to him. He's known as the playoff superstar. He's been on. He was at Penrith a couple of years ago. He's Sydney in the playoffs. He comes alive centre.
Right.
Like a solid defensive centre.
But he comes alive and gets some tries.
He's put him on the prop.
No, second row.
But I think he'll play in middle.
Right, that's what,
yeah.
If needs be.
So you've got Momorowski plays good in the big moment. He's known as a big game player.
Yeah.
But regular season he goes missing a bit. He's not known as this flash, but can step up when you need.
If you think about it, I agree with your point. By the way, probably both of your points in a little bit. I agree with Joe that Kieran should play, but I think the Jimmy they certainly can't play Bentley in the middle, so they'd have to drag the other one across. Mikel and Tom Allroyd have got to become international props for Leeds to have a good season.
Have to, yeah.
Mikel had a taste of England, dropped back in. Mikel has to be a standout dream team. Tom Allroyd, who I think potentially could be anything.
Yeah.
But Tom needs to play 20 games consecutive at high level, and then we can all get on board and say, this is the kid we think he's that good. I think it's essential that them two stay fit, because you've got a real... get them on first. Then you've got the bench lad. Sangare was a little bit different. He can't start with Sangare. For me, that's you're right. You're probably right. They should have gone for a steady Eddie maybe 20. I'm going to say something. But if it happens, then I might think. I'm going to say a prop who in my head who probably needs to be solid. Yeah. Solid carries 140 metres.
I know exactly.
You know what I'm going to say, don't you? But he needs the same consistent level and probably at the right age.
Who?
Well, we'll get along because if it happens.
God, it might happen then.
When magic happens, Joey, it always can happen. But I've got Leeds. God, come on, let me think.
We haven't really mentioned Ackers much there. We do need to mention the fact they've signed also a dream team from 2 years ago and now an England hooker. So
yeah,
I think it's the first. I've been defending Leeds for the last 18 months by saying it's still not Rowan's team. I'm still not judging him because he's been left with some of the situations that players have created themselves that he's had to deal with. We've known how good of things he's doing with the youth and focusing on the youth and bringing them through so that the future's bright. What's changed for me is I thought that this year, before the Ackers and Brodie Croft signings, was Leeds could do with squeezing 6th spot, getting the playoffs. Then the year after, as in 2025, Rowan brings in players and it's all on him then. There's nowhere to hide and I'm sure he'd love it. This is my team and I'm going to make us top 3, top 4. That's been brought forward. For me, Leeds have got to be in the playoffs and they've got to be trying to obviously squeeze into that top 4. No doubt about it now because they're such massive signings. We don't know. That Momorowski, I've only heard and seen good things. Lockie Miller is a random one because he's been playing 9s. We saw on Boxing Day he was happy. I think he was having a bit of fun, but he'd try all sorts. It might take him a little while to get used to the discipline required.
He has played for...
He's barely played.
He played last year.
He didn't play many 13 last year.
Yeah, because that's... But he was there all year. He didn't get...
He's been playing 9s.
He played last year. He didn't come in halfway through last year. He was there as the fullback last year and he got dropped.
I'm saying that he hasn't played 13 aside for a while. He's been playing 9s. So he's used to playing 9s, which is how he played Boxing Day. I'd imagine he's going to get better and better as the year goes on and it could be anything. But there's a lot of...
Urgent message, Craig. Could you stop the show, please, and ring Sammy Bird? Hey, Sambo. Listen, I think Leeds. Rowan, I want Rowan to achieve some greatness. I think he's one of the most honourable, and I love the fact that he wants the youth to come through when he's emerging. Unfortunately, he's at Leeds Rhinos where you're top of the chop, you have to win. And this is a big year for Rowe. I think Jimmy's right. Next year could be bigger. He's got to finish 4. Maybe for me. I think that's, if you don't think that as a Leeds coach, I said it last year, don't want a starting job. Probably going to get to the final Challenge Cup or semi, because there's only 6 teams are going to, be in that. I think anything else there is thinking. I think, like you said, next year you've got to say Leeds have got to win it, because it's 17 since they've won it last. So, unfortunately, we would love Rowan. I'd love to get into it one day. I know we did podcasts regularly. I'd love to get Rowan on, let people see the side of him, which is, he so cares. Never known a coach care about every single player that he's got. And whether they win or not, he's saying to me, do you think he's coming on? So his interest there is like, Lewis Roberts all time. Craig Wicklow is better. He's better. He's going to be a Super League player for 10 years. That's how I've never known no one do that, to be fair. Especially not sat in the Leeds job, which is one of the hot seats in the world. Let's hope he does get the time, and I say because of his attitude.
And Lazone's the one we forgot as well, so he's obviously a big bopper in the middle.
Leigh Leopards guys, Inns, Dan Norman, Owen Trout, Lewis Brogan, Lewis Baxter. See what I can get. They're all easy names, lads. Jack Derbyshire, Cavan Rothwell, Ben McNamara, Matt Moylan. Out, Skildart, Joe Wardle, Ben Reynolds, I forget about that, Ava Samafagi, and Joe Meller. Now here's one, guys, quickly on Leigh. Unbelievable last year.
Yeah.
I went on holiday this year, and there's a guy who follows rugby league. He's a friend of mine, Oates, he's called, through Brett. And he just couldn't stop talking about Derek. It's the reason he watches rugby league. He said, mate, you're all boring. He said, but when you see Deggs, he calls him. And I couldn't believe the impact he's had on people watching rugby. He said that dive on Challenge Cup was the greatest thing. He said, honestly, he just said he's the man. He said, if you're on the verge of a rugby league supporter, you need people like Derek to make other people watch it. And he said, Derek puts bums on seats. So, and honestly, so I look at Derek, and the best signing this year for me is Matt Molan. He's my number 1 signing this year. I rate him that high, that level. Before his injury,
he's who you thought the Newcastle Knights Adam Clune was. He is that level.
Right, so he has been a regular week in week out.
Molan was a fullback who I thought at Penrith originally, and I thought he was going to be, I've got that one right, I think I have, and I thought he was going to be the best fullback in the game. Billy Slater job, I thought he was that good. He slowed down with this injury, got a bad injury.
Right.
And then he ended up with Cronulla.
As a half.
As a half. He changed because of that injury, in my opinion. He'd lost that yard of pace.
Right.
But this is a top. This is...
What age we're talking?
28.
No, he's 32.
32.
Oh, right. So a very senior
so hopefully that doesn't catch up with him. But as a player...
And a game manager,
this kid is up there. This kid is... you mentioned him in Australia, he'd get a thumbs up as being a quality top.
Proven.
Yeah.
We're talking 150 NRL games?
Probably more.
More, yeah.
He's been out for nearly 2 years. Right. Honestly, he's a bird. What did Penrith, Joey?
Yeah, you got it right. He's played nearly 200 NRL games.
This is the real deal.
Yeah. So alongside Lockie Lamb,
he can run, he can pass it, he can control. He's got lovely hands. He was a fullback. He used to be able to swing, and he had that pass. He had a bit of poke then. He hadn't got that type of thing. This game management, a bit like Lockie did. He's dropped into that management role. I think if he's
got to stay fit, and if that's
got to stay fit, I think it's a fantastic signing. It's a typical Derek signing. These are the best overseas signing club in the country. Get that right. Don't let no one debate that. Chris Chester, or how they do it, I don't know how they do it, but they bring in every year. They bring in, as Chesney did at Wakey, players that built a pool for feeders. They bring in these kids become best overseas players in country. Last year, the hooker and the number 13 were best overseas players in the country. Leeds don't get it right. Other clubs, these get it right. So I have a feeling Molan will be absolutely top double. I think they haven't done a lot of changes. Looks like it's the least
they've not done
ins
much.
and outs, which is good. We love consistency. We love that Trout is gone. I think
And to be fair, that is because we had a lot on 2 years, isn't it? Or 3 years. It's next year, I think we've got a big turnover.
Yeah,
or likely do.
I think the coach did an unbelievable job, Adrian Lamb. I think if he can continue it, and these remind me a bit of KR, as in they now expect top four. Yeah. They now expect to be there. Deggsy's not going to be happy unless he gets in the final of top four. No, the players start to believe it. Joe said, can they cook the broth and we have it spicing over? Can they cook something? And this is saying, how they manage these characters, I don't know.
I don't know.
Lammy must be a genius.
I don't think there's as much depth, though. I think KRs have got depth in every position and players that can... I think you see here who they got rid of, which I think is key. Gildar to come in late anyway. Played for them, but wasn't. They're not screaming from the stands. It was always apparent that he would done a sign at KR. Joe Wardle, old and left. All respect to him, solid player throughout the years, but gone to Oldham. The two halfbacks they've lost are the backup halfbacks of Reynolds and Mellor. And then the Afasuma from Fagai didn't play that many times. So you've got Reynolds and Mellor are the two big losses.
So who's the other halfback this year with Lamb?
Moylan.
That's the best combination in Super League.
You didn't let me finish. So I've changed it now to where you've got two there that are the best combination in Super League with Ben McNamara, who can fill in at hooker and be a number 14 and he'll be happy with that. So he's not going to be screaming at them asking to get in.
I'm not being picky. I thought Reynolds did play with Lamb more than anyone last year. Who am I forgetting? I thought it was Reynolds and Lamb mainly.
Yeah,
with Mellor.
I thought you said it was their backup.
You look at them two halves, and then the best. He was probably top four hooker in comps, the hooker.
The Pape.
And then they've got the best loose forward. He's the one. Everybody wants him.
Yeah.
Everybody. And then you clock into fullback, which is
Zach.
Is it Zach?
Zach played a bit of
centre. Whatever. That's top four.
Well, they had Gaz O'Brien as well, didn't they?
That's top four. Forget about it. Them combinations, regardless, are top four, top three.
But the difference is what Joe's saying. For me, they've not got the depth, and I think when I read something the other day, and I was a bit surprised because it was asking people how they thought their team had recruited, and it was almost unanimous. Leigh fans are a bit worried about how they've recruited.
I think Chelsea will bring another 2 or 3.
Well, that's different. At the moment, I'm with Joe. I think that. It's very hard to back up a surprisingly.
Oh no, I'm not. I'm
you think they could
top 3, top 3, 4, yeah.
Oh,
I was complimenting it, saying it's not the same. No, it's not KR where you've got that hot cauldron.
Right.
They've got. I think what you said about KR, there's a solid 17. I think you can pick at least 17 every day of the week.
But I think that's because we haven't got a great deal of depth, which is why I can't put Leigh in playoffs.
Oh my God! The most ridiculous.
What? Well, you both got 5. You've got 5 teams in top 3, so we'll
I'm going to challenge you here. You always have a thing about Leigh. You're from there. What is it? Let's get it out.
Last year,
you're always big on. Let me finish. You're always big on Warrington, right? And
you two picked him to win the year last year. I'm not big on Warrington at all.
You're always biased towards Leeds.
Yeah.
You've always put the kitchen sink into Leigh.
Last year.
Did you get bullied as a kid there?
Last year. I went to school in Wigan. Everyone gets bullied in Wigan. Last year, I just didn't think Leigh could make that transition from Championship and be consistent all year, and they proved me wrong. Hands up. And I loved every minute of it. I've still got a soft spot for Leigh. I love to see what they're doing and what the game day experience is. But with my head talking this year, I just think there's too many other teams that have got more depth, and that's where I think.
But then Matt Moylan, Lucky.
I haven't seen a 32-year-old tear up Super League for a long time. What your dad's saying is obviously his pedigree is unquestionable. And of course, they can be top 4. I'm not saying they're not, but I'm not putting them in my top 6 because I think of their depth. But yeah, we'll see.
They did awesome.
It's opinions, isn't it? We can't argue it yet. We'll move.
Listen,
it's so hard to.
I think they've got the best. I think they've got the best
halfback combo.
And Hooker and Luton.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And I love that Kai O'Donnell, the back rower, as much as any back rower.
You look at 4 positions pivotal to a club, they've got 4 at best.
I agree, but I'm talking about depth and injuries, and more importantly, what you said about Ulker last year and catching people off guard. I think Leigh did that to a bigger extreme, and I think they were playing on a high. Everything went perfectly well last year for Leigh. if they have a tough period and we start to lose a few games, I can see them losing a lot more. That's why I think, and it's hard because it's so tight for me, except for the bottom 3 or 4.
I think the building summer, and I think
they've added some youth. Everybody
always thinks Derek will explode at some times, and if Degsy gets, what puts pressure.
It's volatile.
It happens, but
Yeah, I think Dan Norman and Trouty are a great sign.
Yeah.
Well, no, even Lewis Baxter, really a great prop. He's a big prop, and then they've actually invested in some youth mixed with the money signings.
I've got them trading off with the likes of OKR and Warrington for the. There's only 6 teams you can put in there. That's why I'm.
Yeah, I disagree with one of his earlier teams though.
Right, guys.
London, someone top 6. I think he's not done the math on who he wants top 6 yet, but.
London. Sadiq.
Well, I can do it massively.
Robbie Story, Reece Kennedy, Ian Buffo, James Meadows, Josh Rourke, Akeem Maludi, Jack Capelanglo, Lee Kershaw, Outs, Paul Ulberg, Wellington Albert, Henry, I can't even go there, Corey Norman, Max Allen, Ewan Burke, Rian Horseman, Dane Ware. I'll make this quick, lads, for me. I can be this over in 10 words, and this is no disrespect at all, because I think, as we saw the other day, Lewis Bernick at Casper, one of the best prop on the pitch. I think they're going to get some emerging talent to come through at London, which is going to be sensational. That's what this year's about. Can they get a few of them through? I think the squad they've got, and the thing, James Meadows is a great signing. London lad back in his own thing. Unfortunately, guys, if they get more than 4 wins, they've won the World Cup. If they get 4 wins on that pitch away, or home, sorry, then they've won the World Cup. I don't need to go into anything about the ins and outs. I think the kid who's been in charge of the coaching has done an amazing job. Absolute stalwart to do what they did. I think the club. But my opinion is, we can do this later. IMG put the rating on them. It were all over. I think if IMG had put the pressure on David, spent money and said, David, get it right off the field. We're going to put your 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th because we want you in. They'd have been forced to go and spend 1.8 plus. I think they've probably done it off $1 million, so David don't have to put the money in. I think that's what's happened. When IMG have said to him, you don't have to put the. I don't think they're playing a 1-9 cap, 1-8 cap. I think they're playing a lot less. But IMG have allowed it because they've said, well, we're going to put you 17th, 18th, whatever it is. And so London have said, well, you don't think we're not playing with cap. I think anybody who goes in there this year, that back rower, by the way, guys, is the best. He'll be the one.
Wayne.
100%. He'll be gone. He's that good. They'll shock a few. They'll throw some hand grenades. They always do. They're a great club. I love London. When I meet, I always have a smile on my face when I mention London. These guys have got the hardest battle I've ever seen to get 12 points. You would be so proud of them. And Super League, one thing me and Joe noticed against Cass, and we always know, they never give in.
Yeah.
They never give in. Joe said it earlier on. The culture is that good that they will just keep going. Your man at the top end, I saw Ryan Sheridan walk past, they know what's coming. They know what's coming, and they're probably, after Cass, you get out coach, and you look at each other, you go, we might be all right here.
You got to remember that first half against Huddersfield, we're only 4 points in it before they started to make loads of changes.
I think in Cass, you go, what they didn't realise is we probably got Cass in the bottom 4, so, that was, most games are won in the last 20 minutes. When fatigue sets in, when the part-time players are absolutely knackered, when the full-time just within the year, they haven't got that hardened body. They look to me, the squad looks like they've just pulled numbers in. If the likes of, and I'll just quote it, Sadiq, Robbie Story, Reece Kennedy, Gideon Matthews, James Meadows, they're all championship players. Meloudi's been dragged from, where's it say here? Limu. So he played at centre. Lee Kershaw I always liked. I can't work out why no one's gone for Lee. That's disappointing. But listen, lads, this is 150 to 1, surely. This is what's the odds to go down?
They're the massive favourites to finish bottom. Yeah, 1 to 3.
Yeah, so I don't want to put any more.
But like you say, and what I said earlier, I don't think there is any pressure. If they can win 3 or 4 games, and what I was saying about I think if ever a team's going to get caught out, London are going to be ready to catch them out because they'll give 100% every game. They'll try their hearts out. They're never going to give in. And they might just catch a couple of those 2 or 3 other teams we've mentioned who are going to struggle, probably at home. And hopefully they can... I know you said 12 points. I think getting 12 points would be unbelievable. Winning 3 games, I think, would be a great achievement because they're so far up against it. But more importantly, not getting battered. When Wakey went through that phase of getting battered and when Cass went through a phase of getting battered, I really hope that doesn't happen to them because I hope that their hard work, togetherness, determination will mean that they might have a couple of really good results against top 6 teams where they just don't give in and they stay within 2 or 3 tries of some top teams, as well as, I'm sure they'll have a pump in here and there because when they lose bodies, which is already starting to happen, and it's going to be extremely difficult for them, but it won't be for lack of trying, and I'm sure they'll enjoy the ride. We've got a couple of part-time players there who 12 months, 24 months ago would probably never have dreamed of playing Super League, and then it's here. They were the fittest team in the champ last year, so it's not like, a lot of other champ teams could have gone up and would have been so far off the pace. They're going to get battered in the last 20 minutes of every game. London are fit. They'll be as fit as anyone can be. So wish them all the best.
Same.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it, do they? I just don't know. I can't. I don't know. I think I was going to give a few. Like I said, our man Lou was one of the best props. Was probably the best prop on the field. So I'll give him a shout out. You've got Bill Leyland, possible future England hooker.
Wow,
was unbelievable. Let's hope his injury is not long term and Super League can watch a bit of Bill Leyland. Emmanuel Wayne will give the best highlights in Super League this year with his ferocious carries and tackles. Love Lewis Johnson, but Lewis was so tough to run into him, but nearly snapped, literally folded Lou. Injured Rowan, give concussed George Griffin, multiple other injuries, right? Like, you just couldn't believe what you're watching. So will they have 3 or 4 players that you can watch and be like, wow, they'll be excited for years to come? Yes. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't think there's much else.
I think they'll believe they can come second from bottom. They'll hope that, either Cass or Salford, it goes horribly wrong and they can sneak above them.
I just don't think it's possible. I generally, sadly, I don't think it's possible.
I think it's going to be...
Salford Red Devils, guys. We've got Inns and Nene MacDonald, Ethan Ryan, Matty Foster, Kai Morgan, Cade Cuss, Joe Shorrocks, Chris Hankinson, Joe Mellor. Outs, Matty Costello, Rhys Williams, James Greenwood. Big shout out, by the way, to Love Rugby League who put this on. Danny Addy, Andy Ackers, Ken Seo, George Cabret, Joe Burgess. God. Salford overachieved probably for both coaches Watson and
Rowley.
Paul. Both overachieved in my opinion based on the handcuffs that they have on, the restraints in cap, the restraints in no academy players, the restraints in the outside of the field stuff. So unbelievable. The Lowers do well. I've always thought it might come to a end, but then you look again, you've got Nene MacDonald. Wow. Let's be right, we watched Leeds last year and at times they're on in Nene, who a lot of people were saying Nene's the best back by miles. He stood out like a sore thumb. Yeah. Ethan Ryan, I still think is a fantastic player, played 20 games for KR. He actually changed him to fullback halfway through, but he can play a bit of both. Great try scorer. These play football, so he'll get on back of what Braley and them are creating. Can they lose? They've probably lost 5 of the best players of the last 3 years. The emergence of Croft, the emergence of the lad who went to Wigan and then went to Australia, the halfback guys, man of steel.
Jackson Hastings.
Jackson Hastings, Robert Louis to Leeds for a massive fee. Then they've lost Croft, then they've lost the lad to Wigan, the prop.
Tyler Dupree,
then they've lost
Ackers to Leeds, they've lost Joe Burgess.
We could go on all
Ken
day.
Seo's retired.
Can they keep losing top quality players and replacing it and then making them players the next top quality players? Cade Cuss never did it for me. at Wigan. Joe Shorrock's solid signing. They're relying on Mellor. I'm surmising Custom Mellor are going to play 6 and 7.
They've still got Sneedy.
Sneedy. So them 3. Then we've got to find a hooker. What we got hooker?
Cuss will probably play hooker.
Cuss will play hooker. You think, or somebody else? Guys,
they've got a young Amir Burr, haven't they?
Amir
Cuss will be hooker. Cuss will be hooker.
And Amir, like you said, Amir. So. Listen, if they can do it again, Ariodini couldn't get it. If they keep doing it and losing, if any club in the world in any sport lost their best players every year, and then you have to replace it, eventually the bottom door crashes. And if it crashes, it's usually all the way down. It's like there's no fall. It's like, wow, this has just gone bang. If Paul can steer, listen, Ryan Braley had the best season of his life last year. What for me, the best fullback in the comp. Didn't get the things, but his stats stack up like ridiculous. But I think if these finish in top 8, I think you've got to give them keys to rugby league. I just say how they're doing it. I can't get my head on how they're doing it. There's something special to lose. God, Leeds lost Danny Maguire and Kevin Sim from JP and them, and it's took them 10 years. They're still swimming in, But
I do feel that they haven't, with respect to who they've signed, they haven't signed replacements.
But we never know it. When they signed Croft, I didn't know they'd signed
we knew they'd signed an Australian halfback. Yeah. This time they've not done that.
Leeds do it every year, never get it like that.
I know, but they haven't done that this year, have they? That's the difference.
No, but I'm saying there'll be some people in there, Jimmy, like they do every year, where you go, I never heard of, what's he called? Him who went to Wigan in Australia, Jackson. I never heard of Jackson Hastings.
No, but we knew he was an Australian.
Yeah.
They haven't brought any in, though.
10 Aussie halfbacks sign every year. They don't get too many steals. Salford a special.
I totally agree, but I'm saying we haven't signed any this year. There's no one to come out. There's no one to come out of the woodwork. This is what Ryan says. Rowley's that good. He makes an McDonald on a steal this year. He's that good. He thinks he's that tactically good that one of these players, or we might say Joe Shorrock's, he becomes best back row, and he thinks that's what he does. Honestly, that's what he said he does. He said any player you give him, this is what they think, I'll tell you the truth. We'll talk honestly. When they go out of Salford, because the detail in the coaching, they don't want to be the players. Let's mean Croft and Ackers. Right.
Will they become what they become? I would say if you ask the lads at Salford, they'd probably say not a chance.
Yeah, but they've never worked with Rowan either.
Correct.
So it's all
But they're saying that's the difference. Any of them who've left Rowley have said the same. I'm giving Paul massive raps here.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
They're saying he's detailed to improve an individual player.
Yeah.
He spends that much time on players individually that they're saying he can put them massive inroads into players. Yeah. So I'm saying there'll probably be 2 or 3 here. You'll go, what? How can Mellor at 29, can he become that player we've always wanted him to be?
Right.
We might be watching him and go, he's done it. He's actually got Mellor now who looks like he's... I didn't think Sneedy could ever run a ball. All Sneedy stood in the pocket like a quarterback. Never was asked, you have a look at his highlights. He never got asked to run the ball at all. Just got told to kick. First thing Rowley asked him, you'll be running here. Suddenly, Sneedy's running ball on every play. And he said to him at 31, Sneedy probably went there thinking, I'll just sit kicking ball apart, taking it steady. And he's gone, no, I want to run 120 metres a game. I want to every time you get it. I think he's got something special as a coach, and the club must have something special, or what should we call it, an ideology of saying we can improve every player because other teams are shit at improving players, so they don't spend enough time on detail. Mm-hmm. I reckon if you got inside Ian Blease and Rowley, they'd probably say our 3 coaches spent more time individually playing than the other coaches, and I think that'd be proved. Because unless Ryan's telling me lies. Unless Ryan thought last 4 years, he said to me, you won't believe what gets thrown into them players.
He's not going to lie about a coach that's giving him 10 contracts.
And I'm saying to you, whether Billiken or not, he's saying to me that
I don't doubt it for a second. But what we're saying is...
the proof will be in the pudding, because imagine if Ackers and Croft don't become the men of steel this year. It's Crofty, if you don't get to... Then you'd have to go...
Well, you've got Tyler Dupree, who went and won a grand final.
Well, they got him from York.
Oldham.
No, they didn't.
Fordy didn't want him.
At Oldham.
Leeds didn't want him. Leeds didn't want him.
And he got him. Why did Matty Peake go for him? What do you think did that?
Yeah, but your point...
Everyone wanted him. He just killed it, hadn't he?
No. Who did it? If you ask Tyler who improved his life, he's going to say Paul Rowley.
Well, he gave him a chance at Super League, so of course.
And taught him.
Yeah. I'm not denying it, but all we're saying is, appreciate that, but I can go through that whole squad list and say no one is going to be able to surprise us to that extent.
Because you're wrong, completely wrong.
Go on, pick 3 names.
I'll give you Nenny McDonald.
Well, Nenny McDonald is quality, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But Nenny McDonald may not last the season at all.
Right,
he packed rugby and went back home and then decided to come back. So you would not put your house on him playing the season.
I think they'll work with that and they'll get the best out of it. I think Ethan Ryan will score 20 tries. How's that for you? That's throwing a big one in for you. He's never done that. Super League. He'll score 20 tries.
Yeah, that's a big goal, right?
And I think I'll also say Joe Mellor will become the player that we've all thought.
Joe Mellor's 33. He's not 29.
There you go. Let's see if he does it. If you can get Steely to run at 34, you can get Mellor to...
The 3 things you've said, that a winger scoring 20 tries, which is going to be hard at Salford,
Impossible.
Nenny McDonald, who I tipped as being probably signing of the year last year, who everyone knows how good he is, but has proven he's not that bothered, sadly. He's not.
I think he will be there.
Right, but he's going to challenge... Do
you think Ryan Braley could be top 2 fullback in country? Answer, honestly.
Top 2?
Yeah. No, did you think? Thought he went to Salford.
Did I think he
could? He was at 6, so you couldn't have thought he would have blunted at fullback.
Well, he was best at fullback when he was at Leigh. So when he was back at Leigh in the day.
Did you think Ryan Braley could make the step up he did last year?
To be one of the... I'd class him as a top 4 fullback last year.
Did you answer the question?
Top 4? Maybe. Not...
Wow.
Not but do I think he could be top 2? No. And do I think it's been amazing? Yeah. But I'm not arguing about Ryan Braley. I'm not arguing about Brodie Croft. I'm saying the things you've said, Joe Mellor, with the best will in the world, it does not get them out of the bottom 3. It doesn't. I can't see it.
You've got Salford in bottom 3.
Yeah.
That explains why that's the last 20 minutes then.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? I
didn't think you'd have him in bottom 3.
You're doing a Wakefield on Salford. So you saying Salford are going to get it top 6?
I think Salford will finish 8th.
8th.
Joe?
I don't. I like yourself. You've dragged me. I was going Jimmy's way. I had him 10th, but you've dragged me across.
I can get my maths. What's 10th? Third from bottom.
Third from bottom. You've dragged me across a bit, and I don't know, Dad. I think Cade Cust's a solid. If he can improve Cade Cust's who he is, I don't think he's that bad of a player. He's just who he is, and he's a solid defender. Doesn't have loads of playing. If he gets fines playing Cade, brilliant. Sure, Ethan Ryan, like you said, there's definitely more to come in Ethan, so I can understand you there. Nene, it's his off the field stuff, so I don't believe it. I don't think that's down to Paul.
He did the bad with Jackson. What worse reputation off the field than anything?
That's down to no. Nene's got worse than that.
No. Check Jackson.
Different issues.
No, before Jackson in Australia, you've made that without thinking. Before he came here because of what he was like. He had some terrible problems.
Yeah, so did Nene.
They're totally different issues.
As well. Nene come over here for the same reasons. So you've got Nene's who he is, a great player, but off the field, can they get him to do a full season solid? Hopefully, but if Ethan, yes, and then the rest of them, I don't. Joe Mellor's pretty real. He runs, he does. I think we know what Joe is. Chris Hankinson, exactly the same. I don't know. Well, I'm not with you, Dad. I think there's 2 there, and I think there's 1. There's Ethan. Can he turn Ethan into it? Yes. The rest of him, I think I'm with Jim. I think we know where
we're splitting hairs because I think Birmingham FC will fight it out from 4th from bottom, and you're saying 5th from bottom. We're not going. I thought you were on about one. We're only saying one, maybe 2 positions different.
Yeah, 2. It'll mean a lot when we come to count up.
Fair enough.
Okay, there you go. That was a nice debate, wasn't it, Sam? On the old. Salford. Right, we've got
it right for 5 times and you change it right.
Guys, we've got Saints. This is the least ins. Darryl Clark, T. Ritson, Matt Whiteley, Is it Wacka Blake?
Wacka Blake.
By God, they might have before, but it looks good to me. James Roby, Louis Scarsbrook, Wesley Bruns, Willie Partey.
Well, they've technically done 3 because T were there, wasn't it?
Lewis Baxter, Jumar, Sambu, Taylor Pemberton, Mac Foster, Daniel Moss, Elliot Peposhi, Dan Hill. Right, guys, quick one again. Saints going to finish in the top 4 every season forever. just to make that quick. That's it. We know it. Yeah, because of the way, I think because of the way they develop youth, it's probably impossible for them not to finish in that. We already know there's an half-back coming who we think special. George Delaney will emerge, as we said 2 years ago, into an international prop. Every year they get more and more and more. Our little lad.
Yeah, but he's 4 years away from...
Derek does this every year, has done for 10 years. It don't matter what we say, it happens every year. Any club can lose Roby and Scarsbrook. You'd be absolutely a party. Had the right season last year, up a party. You've lost the greatest hooker ever to play in the game. You've lost a lad who played 8-9 years for him at prop, and what thing is the energy he brought.
Yeah.
You'd be scared. Unfortunately, with this team, that you're not scared.
Yeah.
This year is going to be top 4, guys. I'm not. Clark is going in a lot to prove to me. He's gone in.
Can I make the controversy?
Just 2 seconds. T. Ritson again.
He's been with her last year.
Matt Whiteley's best size, probably the best money baller. I don't know what it's cost.
Oh,
if it's cost 100 grand or 120, cheap at the price for me. Absolute effort, merchant, absolute determination. These are only team who could lose 2 or 3 of the players and still do it. Their big thing is, we've heard that Tommy Makinson's having his last year. Every year now, one of the legends are going to be gone. But you're still lining up. If you think about it, you've got Daz Clark, Lewis Dodds, Johnny Lomax, and the best fullback you lads think it will, young fullback in Wellesby.
Not in Well, not
well, you know what I mean? We all talked about in the World Cup.
No.
So you're 4 there. Lewis Dodds, Lomax has got 3 years left. He's just been made captain. Dodds is 22. Wellesby signed a 4-year. He's 21, 22. And then you've got Daz Clark, who potentially people say is top 3 hooker for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Whether you believe that or not, whatever.
Yeah.
So for me, it don't matter what they bring in, what they went out, because they will emerge 4 or 5. There's a back row of the raving about a young lad. They're already reckon there's going to be these names, so they're all going to be going, my God, they've done it again. That is fact, because that doesn't stop. The culture of them developing can't stop, because unless Derek... Let me finish. Unless Derek...
He has named 8 in his top 5 now.
Unless Derek removes his seven... Unless Derek removes his seven from the scene, he's historically every year produced... In fact, they're not even top players. They're these superstars, what you said. Jack Willsby, in your mood, is a superstar.
Yeah.
Lewis Dodds is a superstar.
Megastars.
Do you know what I mean? So Johnny Lomax is a superstar. He don't produce players, they produce superstars. So I don't think there's any way they're not in top 4. What I will say negatively...
Who's in your top 5? You've currently we've gone through...
You can't win. The only thing with Saints is, do I think Saints can beat Wigan on a one-off? No.
On a one-off?
On a consistent basis throughout the season to win it.
No.
I don't see enough. I'd like to see 2 or 3 new signings to beat Wigan, and I don't think they've done that. That's my thing, but I think you're top 4.
I've got to. You've named. We've gone through 10 teams now. And 2 of the upcoming teams, I doubt you've not got in your top 5 or 6. You've got 7 out in your top 5.
My 4 would be off the thing. If you're on it now, it'd be Wigan, Saints, KR. I ain't got Catalans in mine. No. I ain't got Warrington in mine.
You put Huddersfield in yours?
No, not top 4.
Oh, you did before.
No, I didn't. Check it, Sam. We'll get you. Never did I put Huddersfield in top 4. Top 6, I might have said they might make 6. So I've got, mine would be Wigan to win it. Yeah. I'm doing it quickly. I've definitely got KR probably 2nd.
Right.
With Saints.
3rd.
And then I'm probably looking at a 4. I don't think Leigh will be far off. I'd like to think Leeds. I'm trying to shove a little bit in, but I'd probably go for.
Well, yeah, you said Leigh.
I'd probably go for Leigh, to be honest.
So you've got Leigh above Huddersfield.
So, anything on Saints, guys?
Saints, I'll quickly just give my thoughts. Big losses, innit? I think that's the thing. And they've obviously made a decision. They've obviously got a load of youth coming through, because they've released about 7 or 8 young players I thought were pretty good, to be fair, there. So that's what's scary. They've made calls on quite a few young players, which always scares me, but their track record's better than they know more than me, so I can't argue, but still. I don't like I don't like who they brought in. I don't know if they've done enough, but then, as you said, their spine's still going to be probably top 1 in the league, really. The spine, never mind the rest.
Top 4, wasn't it? Top
3. 2. Yeah, I mean, the spine of Dons. Johnny's the goat.
And this Blake will be a star, won't he?
I'm just reading about him now.
They reckon they're raving about anyway. That's another one they're raving about.
I'm sure they'll have got it right.
You know it.
So they've got Darren. So I don't know. I'm not sold on that Wacker Blake from what I've seen. To me.
Right, there you go.
165 games, 62
Joe, a Wacker Blake's what they use in building to not put things. You just called him a Wacker Blake.
Wacker Blake. But yeah, I don't know. I'm scared about the depth and what they brought in, but
he's solid, that Wacker Blake.
I don't know. I can see him coming 5th.
Ooh. Biggest call so far. That is the call. Let me just say this. Mike Rush.
It hurts.
Joe Harrison. I'm going to try and have a future in business with you. He's just put the boot in.
I've not put the boot in. I think they can do at least. I think they can do what Leeds did 10 years ago and finish top 6, not necessarily top 3. And still make
they ain't got the one club this year, guys.
That's what my point was going to be. I can't see how we don't come top 3 because they were so close last year, and the start of the season was pretty poor. So I'm with you and most people. I think Wigan have recruited so well.
Yeah,
but Wigan, I think the only mini thing on Wigan is French is unbelievably important. And Jai feel as well, but especially French. And everyone gets injured. I was going to say that I just think Saints will be nailed on top 3. And I think they'll get second, in all honesty.
Yeah, me too.
And can they push Wigan? I suppose the big question is, if Wigan, I don't think Wigan will
They're still making playoffs.
I don't think Wigan will do what Saints did last year with the World Club. I can see Wigan putting almost all their energy in. We do not let this affect our season. We want to kill it. And
I think Joe had one of them moments there that he had last year when he tipped Keithley to me. I think that's one of them moments.
It's still top 5. That's still.
What with Keithley he tipped?
So did you. So did he. He said the exact same as me.
Right, guys, Warrington, and we just had the coach on. I've got an important phone call to do after this to the coach. There you go for a name drop. Big Sambo's on the case. Lachlan Fitzgibbon, Inns, Roderick Ty, Wesley Brooms, Toby King returning, Jordan Crowther, Zane Musgrove, Brad Dwyer, Sam Powell, Max Wood, Outs, Daz Clark, Peter Matetier, Greg Minikin, Thomas McHale, Jack Jarvis, Aidan Doolon, Riley Dean, Sam Cassiano.
They've got all of Darryl's signings.
They've got rid of anything Darryl signed. Yeah. Warrington. Listen, I love the Inns. I love the Inns. I think Sam would have had a little bit to do with these already. He reportedly had the job, a few months ago. So if Sam's had a bit of a thing, if he don't get that right, then if he can't get the Australia market, then they've got big problems.
Yeah.
Toby going back's massive. I thought he was top 3 centre in comp. Wigan offered him a new deal. You don't get Wigan to be pissed off if somebody's leaving. They tried everything to keep Toby, literally everything. So that told you his culture were right because they get tested at Wigan like they do nowhere else. I think Sam, and we saw him, and if you get a chance, anybody listening to this, if you get a chance to listen to Sam Burgess's SAS story, what we did on Saturday night, believe me, it's worth every penny. Forget about everything else. Just ask him to tell the SAS story, what really happened in Australia. And believe me, I've never seen a room just with gobhoppers thinking, if you think Sam were crackers on pitch, well, times that by 40. What that story told us, it was absolutely intriguing. And again, if you get a chance to say it as he did with a few pints down him on Saturday, you got a bit of truth. It was fantastic. So I think Sam's got the biggest challenge of his life. I'll give you a little bit about Sam's attitude and how he is as a person. We knew him very well as a kid, Joe, didn't we? When he was about 15, 16, we got to know the family well. What a family. Total raps and everybody. The lads and Julie. Sam's in toilet and he elbows me and he goes, and he's like looking at you and he's like, where do you think we'll finish? But he's looking at you, Sam, as if to say, do you know Warrington have never won titles? And he's remembered this little quote, how long it is since Warrington have won the title. And I'm looking at him thinking, is he taking?
We get reminded.
Well, he was taking the piss. He was taking the piss because that's where we were. But he was asking, and he's saying to me, where do you think? And I'm thinking, if you listen to him talk about his career, he said he won the title at Rabbitohs by promising Russell Crowe on the board that if he got
the title,
he would be released to go to Bath. It would actually Bath when he got released. But he'd asked it. Sam looks to me like he's doing that thing he does. He's going to go, that's on wall. How long? I think people have been scared of that. I think he's going to embrace it. I talked to somebody, Gailey took him home that night. Gailey said, you don't know, he thinks they can. And he goes, but if you know Sam, there's no bullshit. He said, I've never seen Sam in any environment where he don't think he can win. So Sam's going in here, and historically you get coaches, maybe Powley did it a bit much, but you know that, hey, it's a process. Ian Watson uses that word a lot. Tony Smith, it's a process. Let's see what happens
give me 5
next
years.
year. You've got this kid coming in and he's going to go, I don't give a fuck what happens next year. We're going to win it. And that will have a massive thing on them players. I don't think no one ever would have looked at them and given that confidence. I think Powley says, well, half of you can't catch ball. I think there are a lot of that on the core skills and the way they play. Sam's opposite. I don't think Sam's going to be a detailed coach. I think Sam's going to go in and go, guys, follow me.
Yeah.
I'm going over that hill, and if you follow me, I'm a winner. And if you all follow me, we'll win. I think that's the team talk. Yeah. And I think he'll call people out and challenge you, but I think he'll give them cuddles, and I think he'll say, come here. And I think he's got that. Everybody who I said who were in Sam internationally said, the greatest teammate you can have the honour was Sam, James Graham, Jamie Peacock, Morley. They have them in that revered order. It's like having somebody who can just compete at the highest level and not give a shit and no fear. Fear is a terrible thing in sport. The reason you two didn't make it at tennis, guys, is the fear. You both had a real, you had a big fear factor. You both had ability at one time in your lives. It just never happened. You notice when I played at any time in any competition, there was no fear at all. It were all to win. Apart from that, guys, over to you.
I agree. I think I can only see it being either if Sam's attitude and approach, which I'm with you, I think it'll be as straightforward as that. If it works, then they'll be right with it. If it doesn't, they won't. He's trying a different approach to, I think, what the last few have done. The question comes down to it. Do I think their roster is as good as Wigan's and Saints? No. So for that reason, I don't see how they're going to mess with them two. Could they take on Catalans and Leeds? Definitely. And I do think he'll get the best out of him, because like you say, if people don't go with him and he sees people cutting corners, I can't see anything, but he's just like, no worries, you're not playing, or get out if you don't want to be part of it. So it'll be all or nothing, but even with the best will in the world, I don't see how they break into that top two, even three. I just think,
I'll disagree in the sense that I think they've had one of the top rosters. That's why we've had them up there most years or about, because I think they do have one of the top rosters in the league. They've just notoriously underachieved beyond realms that you can never believe in sport. If it was a more widely known sport, this would be a story like some of the greats underachieve at the Buffalo Bills when they got to 4 champ, never won it. There's these would be there. It's just, sadly, we're not a big enough sport that it's a big enough story. They've spent loads. They've got George there. I think they've got the players. Toby's back. Their team's going to be very, very good. Can Sam bring them together? There should be no one else in the world, really, should they, that can bring them together. I've thought long and hard about this.
You're going to do it again?
And I think, well, no, not crazy, but I think they're top 4.
I don't think that's crazy.
It's not crazy.
I'd be bordering.
I think they're top 4. I think they've got...
The 4 favourites, so...
There you go.
Yeah, I think they're top 4 comfortably, and Sam might. I think Sam gets them to one of the finals.
Wow. Well, listen, if one man can, isn't it weird there? I think unbelievable players anyway. George Williams could have been publicly in that best half seen comp. You'd have thought Toby, Jake Wardle. Sorry, not Jake Wardle. The other centre. I'm trying to think the new one. The same.
Black and White. Oh no, sorry.
Warrington. Anyway. They're saying the fullback came good at end of last year, didn't he? Terrible start, and all of a sudden started to show what he could do. But we're talking about Sam. I'm looking at Ben Curry and thinking, can Ben Curry, who's report, Ben's hit some massive highs and then it's gone like that. And I always said at 16, I thought Ben Curry was the greatest talent. I thought he'd go on to be an absolute megastar. Maybe Sam's the man who could unlock some keys, because just being with him on Saturday night, let's be honest, you couldn't stop laughing, could you?
I had Warrington in the bottom half of the table before
you met Sam.
Before I sat around Sam at the weekend. Swear my life.
True.
He impressed me that much that I've now got him up there.
We can't stop laughing.
Because if you study the team is, I believe the team is there. It's just Warrington, it's always our year. You put them down. I think they've got the team. Like you said, I don't know the Aussies. I know Lachlan Fitzgibbon's a very good player. Roger Try obviously is in PNG, so that's in the level below, so I don't know anything about him really. But apparently, I've spoke to one or two of the PNG players, and he's meant to be the best of the lot.
Right.
That's what they've said. From a PNG direct, he's the best of the lot, Roger Tye. And then obviously Zane Musgrove, I don't know loads.
Do you know what I thought were a great signing, both of you? When it proved what Sam is, and it was Sam who wanted him. They had Dwyer, they had Brad. Powell signed Brad. He wanted Sam Powell.
Yeah.
And he made it clear because of culture. Because he thought Sam Powell would bring something that Warrington haven't got. Which for a Geordie Crowther, in a way, he's not a Warrington player historically, but I think Sam wants that type of player. He said yesterday, one of the guys I talked to, Gary Chambers, said he likes players who just work the socks off. Aggressive from D. It's going back to a lot of Aussie characteristics. So Sam, listen, great fought game, keep him there anyway. We're good, bad. What a roller coaster. And if they get him on Sky a few times and he tells them that SAS story, that for me just and the grand final one when he had more injections in him than some story, some man. Guys, we now finish off, and what we're going to do, Sam, with this, we'll finish this. And then we will
give our predictions.
We'll put our predictions on a board, and we can leave the board. I don't think we need to go through that, because I think we've gone through everything. So I think if we just leave the board, and that's the last image of what we do. So Joe or Jimmy, Wigan, in and out.
Cruz Leeman, Adam Kieran, Tiaki Chan, Sam Walters, Luke Thompson, Sam Essay. Out Kai Pierce-Paul, Toby King, Cavan Rothwell, Logan Astley, Cade Cust, Ian Thornley, Kieran Tyrer, Morgan Smithies, Sam Powell, Joe Chorrocks, Ramon Silva, Joel Baldwin and Joe Bush, Harvey Wilson, Harvey Makin, Max Wood. Long list.
I think that sounds a lot, because I think they have put all their young ones on there.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, there's a couple.
Do you know what? He's a really interesting one. Matty Pete, Coach of the Year for me. Did it in his first year, unbelievable. Nine-time winning academy coach, and then in his second year he wins the. If they beat Penrith, this can go on to be the best career. He's still only 30 odd. It's unbelievable what's happening. It's unbelievable to do a 9-year apprenticeship at a club from being 25-year-old, and then win a grand final in the time he has done with a club that hadn't thingy for a little bit. I think is a massive shout. The favourites to win it again. God knows where this is going to lead. They've been lucky enough now to get investment. Last 10 years, they've not investment. Now they've got. I daren't say this because that's what got us in trouble last time when they said we let some out of the bag. Cruz Leeman, Cruz has got it all to do for me, and we said this every year on this, and I don't want. Come on, Cruz. I've heard Ryan speaks very highly. Lads think you're a great kid. I hope you're an unbelievable success. I didn't see you as a Wigan signing. I thought it was I think you were a Leeds signing. I think you were a Leeds signing in the way you play. Wigan, I didn't. That culture at Wigan. We just put a viral video on Insta of Matt Shaw taking a ball in. You tell me at any other club, if the reporter took a ball in, they'd just have a little tap. It gets played clean out. It's had about 20,000 things. It's gone crazy. And that's on show them on the Insta, actually, if anyone's want to watch it. But it's crazy. This is Wigan. I think Sam Walters could be the signing of the... That's bad recruiting of Leeds not to get Sam done. If it were over money and the lad said Sam wanted to stay, terrible call on Leeds' behalf, which could come back to bite him for 10, 12 years. If he has a career at Wigan and wins 4 or 5 grand finals and goes to Australia, whatever, you'd have to say who made that call at Leeds not to get that deal done. Because that had to be done, in my humble opinion. That had to be done. Luke Thompson, again, like Crew's got it all to prove to me. I'm not what anybody says. He didn't go to Australia. He went as number one prop in the country. Yeah. Number one. He didn't come back as number one. He's got it to do in our comp. So that's a big challenge for Luke Thompson, in my opinion. Matty Pete's talking Sam Essay up. Said, Craig, wow, get ready. That's what Matty said to me on phone. I didn't say, I've not seen enough of Sam. I know Wakey lads had a big rap on him. Corey and them said Sam could be anything. He's talked him up as though he could be that one. That thing is, I don't like that they've lost Sam Powell. I think Sam, when me and Joe went to Wigan training day, little one, he was the man. Like, he came up to us, first player to come up to us. And he was the one who said, "Are you all right, lads? What you doing here?" And he was brilliant. And I said to Matty, he said, "That's how he is. That's it. That's his culture as a person. He's the culture of this club. He's got the DNA of this club stamped all over him." I think you miss people like that. They'll miss Toby King. Joe Shorrocks, I thought, went really well for him at times when they needed him. They'll definitely lose. Morgan Smithies is monstrous. As Matty Pete said, if that middle went, he just brought him on and he said, he just tucked it back in. Anything that were half missed in middle, he was the cleaner. He brought the cleaner on. Morgan's gone on to Canberra. I think he'll be a massive loss. Massive loss to us and all, Morgs. They've got to win it, or it's been a bad season. Yeah. Imagine having that pressure. We're not about OKR, we're not about this. If Wigan don't win it and win double, and beat Penrith or compete at a good level with Penrith, everything's disappointing. They are now the GOAT. The bar has gone. Wigan are the bar. That's it. Simple as Wigan are the bar. Yeah. They've got the most exciting squad. They've got the two most exciting players. What can stop them, guys? That's your problem. Where does it stop?
Just Saints. But it's not that long ago since you were saying Saints are going to dominate for the next 10 years.
Yeah, and they didn't survive.
No, I'm on about 2 years ago. Yeah. And out of nowhere, Wigan have taken over him. And I don't think...
I don't know where you went with that one, Jim. I think that's it.
Well, I'm saying this is how quick Wigan have gone from being...
But are you saying Wigan are going to slip that quick like Saints?
No, I'm saying 2 years ago, it was perceived that Saints were going to dominate forever. So quickly, Wigan have flipped it, and now
they're... Because Pete, do you think... I'm not. Don't give him a lot of tough in my opinion.
No, but that's mainly back to that. I always had Lammy's back when you two hammered Lammy. Yeah. When I said it was just because Bevan and Jai were injured. You know, they played the season without them, so I felt.
Yeah, I could feel it with Matty thing. I looked, I thought, I wonder if he gives it.
Yeah, because I told you before. You might remember.
No, I don't.
Yeah, because I think that those two players are so important.
Right.
Lammy had to do a year without him, and Wigan didn't do it.
Right.
They two come back. Matty Pete, clearly a brilliant coach. His CV is awesome. He's done a brilliant job. And that's what I'm leading to. He's a big part of it. The fact that they kept the key players fit last year. What I'm saying is the only team I think that can stop them is Saints, because Saints are still quality, and now they've got that extra edge right now. They think our arch rivals have overtaken us and are the big boys. I still think Saints can run Wigan close, no doubt about it. But I do think Wigan are rightly favourites, because I do like the fact Luke Thompson is back there. I know that it's not gone to plan in ours, but he was our best middle before it. Kieran was probably the best centre in the league last year, and he had that kicking side of things as well. Crew's never been his biggest fan, but I do think Wigan, despite what you said, I think Wigan could be a good place for him, because I think he will have to be more disciplined with how he plays. My only criticism of Crew's is nothing to do with his athleticism. Probably one of the best, if not the best in the league. Fitness, one of the best, if not the best in the league. I just thought his decision making at times was selfish, to be really brutal. Whereas I'd like to think what they'll do to him at Wigan is make him into more of a machine and more disciplined. And if any club can get the best out of Cruz, I think it will be Wigan. So he could end up having a really good year on the back of it. So it's
Joe,
it's all for them to lose, like you say. But fair play to what they've done in 12 months.
Yeah, like you said, Taki Chan, Adam Kieran, I can't believe Catalans have let them both go. Both brilliant players. Sam Walters, big loss. Luke Thompson's probably the big one with the question mark on it, because he's gone over there and not quite done it. So that's a big question mark. Cruz went over there, didn't quite do it. Another big question mark because at Leeds he were up and down, wasn't he? So I think they're your big two. Luke Cruz, I think they're riding a lot on that. Sam Essay is a young product who won Young Player of the Year at Championship, and that's all. He did brilliantly when he were at Champ, so he's moved on, did well at Wakey, boom, Wigan. I think, they've not made that many big changes, really. They've apart from Smithies, which is a ginormous loss, the others are like for like. Can you replace Morgan Smithies' work ethic? I don't know. I don't see it quite there. I don't see it there. Like him, is it? I think probably shows how important Smithies is if they go and struggle a little bit. If they go and piss it, then Matty Pete's the greatest coach possibly in the last 10 years of what he's done with the youth leading on to the first team, and well done to him.
Well, it's just it's scary that it's the beginning of a career. That's what I'm saying. Brian Mack, the ones who've done it usually do it towards the end. There's not many done it early doors. That's what scares me a bit. Whether what Jimmy's saying's right, everything were ready and Matty had to just galvanise. I think them youngs play for him because the thing. But my thing is that if this is the start of your career, where does he go? And if you think about it, I asked him once about the Australia thing. I'm thinking if he does well at Wigan, well, he'd have to, wouldn't he? Really? I know he's not going to admit that, but he's probably going to have to say, well, if I do this, Wayne did it for a bit, but Sean was 50. And he'd done 10 years in youth like Matty, but Sean was 50-year-old probably when he even got a chance. Matty's so young to be doing and having to, I thought he'd find it really hard to talk to some senior players, like, how does he do that? But when we went to Wigan, it all made sense because O'Loughlin's Matty's best mate. So them two were like that. Well, he was the king on the field, so, you know what I mean? Matty had the respect of the Wigan people like you won't believe. So, listen,
he's earned it, hasn't he?
I think that's the time. I think here's one for you guys. We'll put our things up. I think recruiting and everything wise, we've actually got a bit of buzz back in game. I went to Wakey the other day, and they're going to come and compete on a level like Warrington. They're going to be right on. It's quite scary. We've got Ulke Howe investment finally. Last 2 years, big investment. Wigan, big investment. Warrington will always have investment. Leeds just announced an £18 million sponsorship deal. Derek at Lee, big investment. We've been waiting for them, guys, to come. They're here. The guns are being drawn.
Yeah.
Cass and them might kill me and think, they need to find someone. They've just announced that they've got somebody who's going to put someone in. So it's happening. What we dreamt about is happening. Get rid of salary cap, guys, please, for me. Well, get rid of salary cap. Let the big guns get it on. Let's put some excitement back in sport. Get that cap smashed. It doesn't mean anything. It's a ridiculous thing. All it's done is to promote the bottom. And keep it level, they say. No, go and find these people want to be interested. They don't want to come in and not spend the money. That guy you're talking at Wakefield, he's not doing that to come in and have a 3 year and build a 10-year generation. No, he said to me, I want to be top 4 by They're in for it. They want to spend the money. They want to come in and invest. So exciting times for me, lads. I think we're going to have the best year we've had for 10 years.
I agree.
And that's an exciting face.
That's a big statement, isn't it? I like it. I'm excited this year. I am excited this year.
I think the quality in the top half of the table is going to be
best it's been in ages.
I think it's the most Wigan are favourites, but I think after that it's so open.
Big thank you, Jimbo. Big thank you, Joe. We'll write down, guys. We're going to leave it on the screen. Mick's here, he'll put his on, so we're going to have to fill 4 teams in. And Sam will leave it on the back of the thing. We'll even print it on the Insta and get it everywhere. You can hold us all accountable. All you chairmen and supporters want to give us, I don't agree with it. That's all right. We're here for a bit of that. So thank you very much for listening. And it's the full 8.